Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Open Dialogue, the number one podcast based out of Utah Valley, a podcast dedicated to exploring religion, relationships, and reflections on the world and everything in between. Most importantly, promoting a no filter, open, safe discussion where every voice matters. I'm Samson, I'm your host. Thank you for joining me, spending some time with me today, wherever you may be listening or watching this podcast. Guys, it's been a while. I'm not even gonna lie. I apologize. I'm sorry. I really am. I have been doing, as most of you know, I'm currently a student at Brigham Young University, and so we just came off of 2 weeks of like finals, and I just didn't have time. So I apologize for that. Um, and hopefully I can get back on the consistent posting grind now that summer is hit. But like I said, again, I'm gonna try to get these episodes out to you as much as I can. That being said, you'll notice that there is a different camera angle today. That is because I am a solo guest today on the episode. Um, I do not have a guest today for this episode, but next week there's a very special guest that will be joining, so please tune in for that next week. But today I wanted to hop on here and share some writing, some writing that I've done over the course of the last 2 years or so. Um, when I served a mission, something that was really helpful. And for those of you who serve missions and do this, they always tell us to like keep a journal. They tell us to keep some kind of form of writing that will help us to count our blessings, that will help us to keep track of what happened in the day. Basically, it's something that they encourage all missionaries to do, right? And I did. And something that I found really impactful was the ability to just write your thoughts on paper and that be it. Like no one's gonna like it's not like you're ever gonna really share this to the public or anything like that, but it's your journal, it's your thoughts. And so when I got back, I started doing this thing, and even before I left, I did this thing called open letter writing. And open letter writing is sort of this thing, for those of you who don't know, it's when you take a theme or a topic in your life and you write about it, you personify it, and you write about it, or you write to it. And so, like, for instance, if the theme was adversity, you would personify adversity as if it was a person, and then you would just freely write as if you're writing to that person. Like, what would you say to adversity if it were a person? So that's kind of something that I do and I've enjoyed doing. And so I have a few topics, few things. As per theme of open dialogue, we discuss religion, relationships, and self-reflection or reflections on the world. And I have three letters that I've written. One is like pretty recent, but like the other two I've had for a while. And some of these open letters are super personal, but I find that these ones that I wrote were somewhat general, and it's something that brings me peace and comfort and just helps me think. And so this episode's a little different in the sense that I invite you to, as I read these, I invite you to think about them. Just think about if there's anything I will say in them that will make you think or that will make you feel like you need to do something in your life. That's kind of the point of this episode. Um, and so, I'm going to talk about God. So my first theme is going to be God. Second one's going to be love, and then the third one's going to be life. So, if any of these stuff that you read or that I will read to you or that you hear impacts you in a certain way, just please feel free to send me a message, or if you want to share your thoughts, please feel free to share this with someone else that you think needs to hear it. First one is to God. It's actually a letter that I wrote in terms of I am writing to God. Mm. It says, Dear God, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm reaching out with a very unique request. It is not the usual prayer asking for small favors or for the divine intervention that I have seen you do in the past. It's not for you to intervene in society to prevent wars or poverty or disease, or even for my own personal wishes, although that would be great. Instead, I'm asking for a miracle. In fact, the most significant personal miracle or request that I've ever made. Dear God, I would like to understand you. I would like to truly understand you. I want to grasp your essence, your nature, and your character that pushes even the most vile of sinners to be saints. God, I also want to understand what this plan of happiness that you have made for me is. I want to know what role I play in the grand design of things. I want to understand my purpose, my religion, and how best I can serve you. What truly is my mission? It has been said that I'm supposed to love you with all of my heart, mind, might, and mind. Yeah. And as such, I find that hard in a society that ceasingly and without unrest, seems to forget who you are. They seem to deny your mission, deny your son, and deny the plan that you have made. In fact, my entire life, I have been religious, spiritual, if you want to call it. I've heard various descriptions of you from others, whether that be religion, denomination, organization, individual, telling me who you are and who you aren't, what you are and what you aren't, how you are and how you aren't. I've been directed where to find you and where not to look. I've seen numerous images and heard countless stories of you, including personal experiences shared by others. In a world where opinion seems to grow and perspectives seem to outweigh what truth is, it becomes difficult to hear your voice amongst the many others. And so, what have I done? I've tried my best to do what you have said to do, to come follow me. In fact, I've been told that you are love, that you are what I need to look for, and that I need to only look for you within in order to truly find you. Although this thought warms my heart, it seems that I, at times, seem to shut down at the mere mention of your name, as sometimes do others. In my life, coming from where I come from, growing up where I've grown up, and seeing what I've seen, I've experienced terrible tragedies, death, and violence committed in the so called your name, and the numerous disasters that have indicated that not only is our society on the decline, but so is our planet and many civilizations as we know it. Some argue if you truly exist because of what is going on in the world, although others say that these events occur because of the free will that you have granted us. So tell me this: what am I supposed to do in a world that is consistently having a differing and opposite opinion from me? If I believed you exist, there's someone there that doesn't. If I believe you don't exist, there are people there that do. I will never doubt your existence, nor will I ever doubt that you love your children. But despite all of this, I confess I've had moments of doubt and questioning, but within my heart, my soul, my faith, and belief have always stayed strong. And so now I'm coming directly to you, and I'm seeking the source and asking you to reveal your true nature to me so that I can align myself with you and dedicate my life to serving your purpose. This is my deepest desire, and to achieve it, I believe that I need to truly know you, and our connection must be direct, personal, intimate, and undeniable. How am I to do so? I find that often people say faith is defined as belief in the unseen, unexperienced, and unproven. I get it and I respect it. But faith without works, I have come to see, is dead. I understand that if I truly believe in something, I would act that way. If I act in a certain way, it means that I believe in a certain way of life. Rest assured that this request to you, God, is not about faith. I have faith and my heart is full of it. I believe in your reality. I know you exist, and there is no doubt of that. So, nor am I asking for a sign or proof of that. I'm just asking to know you. Please continue to let me understand your presence and recognize it as a child recognizes his mother's touch or his father's voice. I want to know you so intimately that I can be as comfortable with you as possible, even when I am with my closest friends, my family and loved ones. Excuse me, even as I am with my closest friends and loved ones. Knowing that you'll understand me and you'll be there for me, even when I am not making sense or losing my way. God, wherever you are, people always debate who you are. They debate where you currently reside. They debate who or what you may be. Whatever the answer to this, at 23 years old, I do not know. But I am ready to welcome you with open arms and a heart full of love. I am ready to use a lifetime of learning in your service to promote your purposes and support the cause. With my own agency, I have found peace in your gospel and divine teaching found in the Son, Jesus Christ. So I am coming to you, ready to listen and feel that guidance in your life. So at the end of the day, God, I just want to be able to understand your love in a profound and personal way. I want to continue to feel it in my heart and continue to see it in the world around me that is so rapidly declining. And I want the innate ability to share it with others. So please, wherever I go, whatever I do, and whoever I meet, let me be always open, willing, and ready to accept you. Of the first one. Um, you'll understand that a lot of things in there probably don't make sense. And that's because the idea of these open letters is to just put your thoughts down. And so something I would invite you to do is if you've made it this far and you actually listen, I would invite you to ponder that. If you don't believe in God, that's okay. If you do believe in God, that's also okay. But ponder what the knowledge of a higher being could look like in your life. Ponder what the love of God could look like in your life. And for those who don't believe in God, that's okay. We don't need to force our opinion on you, but I would also invite you to find what that thing is that brings you love and comfort. The second one is about love. I like love. Love's fun. Love sucks. So this is one that I wrote. This one quite a bit ago I wrote, but I hope in this one you guys can understand and relate and also find something that you can learn. Who knows? Dear love, people usually describe you as a fairy tale. We hear it everywhere. All you need is love. Love is patient, love is kind, and that's agreed. We need to understand that love is one of the strongest emotions in the world and something that everyone needs and everyone dies for. But then you are as scary as you are beautiful, as a two-sided coin. People have asked me of the possibility of someone falling in love, or if you can believe in love again after being hurt. I thought about it, I thought about it, and I think it's possible. I've thought about the morning texts and sending the craziest things on the internet to each other. I've thought about the late night phone calls and sharing secrets. I've thought about laughing till our tummies ache and all the pretty butterflies. I've thought about how it would be to fall in love and fall asleep in the arms of someone that loves me. I have thought about binge watching movies, pillow fights, eating together, staring at the night sky, sharing dreams and adventures together. I've thought about every imaginable possibility that would enable me to find love. But then I've also thought about the other things, sharing fears, facing hard times, being there for each other no matter what. I've thought about how understanding you would be and how much you would love me even though I am imperfect and how much you would make me grow. I've thought about how loyal I would be, how kind and loving I would learn to be, and how much I would love you. But let's be honest, being the practical person I am, I've also thought about a lot of other things. Growing up in the world that we live in today, I have thought about what would happen if I were to lose the person that I was dreaming of spending the rest of my life with. I've thought about what would it be like to not only lose a lover and a partner, but a best friend. I've thought about anxiety-filled nights and depression, tear-stained cheeks. I've thought about what if one of us cheats and the other is left broken? What if one of us can't work enough for the relationship and it breaks? Think about the incompatibility and the betrayal. There are major issues that can break trust that cannot be healed. I've thought about how it would be if you loved someone else eventually and it broke me. I've thought about if this happens, how I might slip back into my old ways and neglect myself. I've thought about how it would be like to sink into nihilism and destroy what little left I have of me. But make no mistake, I have also thought about how you would walk away, leaving me with a hole in my heart, or heaven forbid, no heart at all. Now, I have thought about all these things, including the pain and the hurt that you might go through. I have thought about how scary it would be if I were the one doing these things to you, knowingly or unknowingly. I've thought about how much I might be the regret or even the painful memory. And I've thought about how much it would feel to hurt the one you love because you can't love them enough. But at the end of the day, there's a very interesting thing about love. It turns out the concept of love is found all around us. The concept that in order to move forward, you must first push backward. In order to jump up, you must first push down. In order to go, you must first know when to stop. Love is this interesting concept that I've come to realize is neither bad or good. It is what you make of it. And no matter what painful and hurtful and dark sides of love there may exist, there are double the positives. No matter what, I've realized that I need you, the bad and the good, and I may not deserve love all the time, but I deserve to learn, grow, and feel. And so when bad things happen, it's never a goodbye to love. It's never a disappointment of love, but it's always an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to grow, and a hello to the future that it might bring. So at the end of the day, love is good. Love can always be good as long as we are ready to climb the steps and trek the long journey necessary to make it all worth it. That's love, guys. Um, that one was just I think that's something that I've come to learn in my life. Because like I love a lot of people. I love all of you guys. Like if you're listening and you're watching this, I love you guys. I love my family, I love my friends. But we have to understand that love is not easy. And if it was easy, like everyone says, if something was easy, everyone would do it. And you'll have to notice in the life we live in today, not everyone knows how to love. Not everyone knows how to put in the effort, or even if they do know, they don't. And so I think that while although this life is full of heartbreaks and sad times and hard times, love is what brings us out of that. If we can only learn to love, I truly believe that there's a lot of problems that could be fixed just by having the initial reaction to love someone instead of be judgmental about them, having the initial reaction to get to know someone instead of looking at how they are on the outside and making a decision. I think that a lot of these things are hard to do for sure because we are human. But if we can do it, I think a lot of problems become solved. Um, but yeah, there's my open letter to love. Last one, last but not least, of course, is life. Um, Before I even read this one, I just want to ask you, as listeners and viewers, a question. And I want you to just think about it in your own spare time. But the question goes as so. If you were to restart life right now, whatever age you're at, wherever you're at, if you were to push a red button and all of a sudden you're no longer 23, you're no longer 50, you're no longer 60, you are zero, you are starting over again, would you do anything differently? I'm not going to lie to you, I still can't answer that question. But that's the question I want all of us to just ponder about. I think that is really powerful is if you were to reset life, would you do anything differently? Or would you do it all the same? So here's my open letter about life. This one's kind of short and to the point. Sometimes life can seem great, and other times it can feel as if you are spiraling out of control and you just can't catch a break. But when your head is underwater and you feel like you can't catch your breath, here are some things to remember. First and foremost, it is important to know that it's okay to not be okay. Sometimes people have bad days, bad weeks, bad months, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a bad life. Life is long. If you think about it, in the grand scheme of the history of the world, your life is relatively short. But in the present, in the life you are currently living, it's pretty dang long. One of my professors in college took time to talk to us about mental health and the importance of it. And it was time for everyone to talk about what many people avoid. At the end, she told us that our brains were hardwired to remember the bad things easier than remembering the good. This is why a lot of happy memories or important experiences that were beneficial to us take the back seat compared to whatever heartbreak, whatever loss, depression, or anxiety that we may have. He said that the best way to counteract this is to remember three things that happened that day right before we fall asleep. And I'm sure there's many people who have said this as well. But when we remember three things that made us happy that day, we remember the good, and in turn, we reassure ourselves that everything is going to be all right. Secondly, it is important to know that each of us are strong. I don't think we give enough credit to ourselves for what we can accomplish as human beings. And why is that? Why do we seem to be so much harder on ourselves than anyone else in our lives? I think some good sometimes can come from this, but however, it is important to know when you're pushing yourself too much. I struggle from this personally. Sometimes it's important to take a step back and give yourself some credit. Whenever I hear one of my friends get down on themselves, and we all have, this has all usually happened to us, but when I hear one of my friends getting down on themselves, I look at them and say, would you say that to a friend? And sometimes, confused, they reply no. So then, what would you say to yourself? You need to start treating yourself like your best friend. If you can treat yourself like your best friend, you need to understand that you are alive, and no matter what you have gone through, you're still here. It may not be where you want to be, but no one is ever where they want to be. That's what this life is for. It's to progress and progress through every obstacle that life throws at us because that is something to celebrate. The third comes from a quote. Unfortunately, I do not know where I heard this quote, but it is accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. Some things in life are out of our control, frankly said. And for someone who wants to control everything, or feel in control of everything, like myself, this can be hard. One of the most important lessons I've learned is that you cannot control what life throws at you. The only thing you can and always will be able to control is how you react to everything that happens in your life. Only you can decide to rebuild yourself or tear yourself down. But I can guarantee you, if you rebuild, you come out on the other end stronger. Fourth is that although life is long, I mean, 70, 80, 90 years is a long time. In the grand scheme of the history of the world, our existence individually is short. And sometimes it seems like you look around and you blink and everything is different. At the snap of a finger, everything is changing all at once and you want it to slow down because it's getting too much. You need to know that life changes. That's how it works, and it's not a bad thing. But we always need to understand we are only given what we can handle, and there's nothing that we cannot overcome. Make the most of each day and hold on to the good things and nurture the relationships that mean something to you. Surrounding yourself by things and people that make you happy can really change your perspective. Lastly, take care of yourself. In the current world that we live in, it's always go, go, go. And sometimes they need to slow down, take a breath, and check on yourself. There is nothing wrong with making yourself a priority in order to stay grounded. Think of the things that will make you happy and the people in your life who love you and all that you dream for yourself in the future. It could be your favorite place in the world, a song that you just can't help but dance to, a smile or a laugh that is just so contagious. How could it not put you in a good mood? The ultimate importance in life is to make sure that you are happy, you are progressing, and you are not doing it alone. Because if you are going to try to do it alone, sometimes that's not the greatest option. But at the end of the day, you are in control. And if you're not going to live your life, who is? So those are like all the three open letters. And I really hope that for all it's worth, um, you were able to pick something up from that. I just basically ranted to all of you for half an hour um, over certain topics, but I hope that there was a gem in there or something that just made you think, because that's the objective of open dialogue is to share our thoughts, to make us think, to make us open our minds to new perspectives. And as such, if you have a new perspective or you have something to say about anything that I've just said, then I I invite you to reach out to me. I want to hear from you. But at the end of the day, this is from me. A lot of these things I've said may not apply to you. A lot of them may apply to you. But I do want to share with you that we are all trying to navigate this world together, and we are trying to do it at a crazy fast pace. And so you are not alone. Whoever needs to hear this, you are not alone. Whoever is struggling, you are not the only one struggling. You are able to reach out for help. Um, but besides that, like, I don't have much else to say. I just wanted to make sure that I came on here for another episode to just share some nuggets of wisdom, Samson's wisdom. I don't know if that's even wisdom at all, but you get what I'm saying, right? But um, I just want to say if you enjoyed this open letter format, please let me know. I have plenty. And if you have open letters that maybe you've written at home and you would like to share, please do. This is a place where we try to promote open discussion and dialogue. And so please make sure that you subscribe to Open Dialogue on wherever you listen or watch this podcast because your participation is crucial and it helps us connect up viewers like you. And if you want to be featured in our guest segments for the open question in our episodes, then reach out to me at open_dialogue_podcast. You know where to find us on Instagram. And make sure to follow so that you do not miss any sneak peeks, any bonus episodes, any trailers or such that might come with future content. Remember, please share this podcast with your family and friends, and let's keep growing and discussing together. This has been Open Dialogue, the podcast where every voice matters. And until next time, which we will see you next week, keep the dialogue open. Thanks, guys.